I'm going to say a few things based on my experience as a teacher and working in the industry for 8 years, and based on my master thesis, that the cram school industry is a business. There are schools who are just purely shouting and just the environment is so negative.
A lot of them are like that.
And the foreign teacher side, there's a boatload of problems, yeah? So, from my study is that the reason why parents enroll in cram schools, the number one thing is fear of falling behind. Education system here in Taiwan is brutal, it's deadly. The kids don't have a proper childhood. In Taiwanese parents' eyes, the more busier your kid is, the better it is. My early years of teaching, and I didn't know any Chinese at the time, so they were like, oh, teacher Tom, let me teach you a word that means good job, right? And then the word was kaopei, or like kaopei. Like, the thing I cannot fathom, mate, is that in that pilgrimage, I see girls or ladies in a very
provocative
outfits,
dancing
or
on
dancing
cars,
on cars
with like neon flashing lights.
Yes,
and
it's
loud
like it's a
music,
club
and
or
they're,
something.
And they're lighting fireworks.
My former boss took me in, but I started off as 100 NT per hour. That was in 2017. I wasn't teaching. I started off as a person who was creating multiple choice questions, test.
Like an assistant, kind
an
of.
assistant.
Yeah.
And then I started to work as a teaching assistant. And then after teaching assistant, I became a part-time teacher.
Oh, okay.
And then I became a full-time teacher.
Your money went up.
Yes.
Your hourly wage went up.
And then after I became a full-time teacher, I became a department supervisor.
Wow.
And then I became a branch manager, and then I quit. So in my 7 or 8 years of time working at only one school, I was able to climb the ladder. I was able to change the perception of my coworkers, saying that people from any visual background can be able to teach. And I taught 100%. English for 7 years, 8 years almost. And I even did my master thesis on the bilingual policy and how it's influencing cram schools. And I interviewed big 10 cram school chains owners about their perception of it. And I found very interesting and contradicting things about it.
I'll bet you I can name probably like 5 of the big 10.
I think you can.
But I don't want to say them. But
for confidentiality,
off camera, I'll ask you if I'm right.
I can let you know. Yeah.
So you found some troubles within the system.
Education system here in Taiwan is brutal. It's deadly. The kids don't have a proper childhood. In Taiwanese parents' eyes, the more busier your kid is, the better it is. And they have an opportunity to brag about their kid. Oh, my kid goes to piano school. Oh, she goes to this type of English. Oh, she does this, she does that. Oh, she's so busy. And then it's a very unfair type of competition to compare your kid to other kids just so you can get some credit. But at the end, the person who's being influenced most is your child. But some parents don't really see in that sense. They just think they're the way of representation. I'm doing this for you. I'm helping you out.
And they're also following the system and thinking this is just how it's supposed to be.
And they're not wrong, because the system itself is created to be like that, because grades are very important to them. And because of how competitive it is, if they don't get a good grade, they can't get into a good university. If they don't get a good university degree, they don't get a good job. They don't get a good job, they don't get money. And that's just the whole process. That's the traditional route, right? But they shouldn't be overwhelmed by it 6 days a week, 7 days a week. If a child has passion for a certain thing, they are self-motivated to study and work into it. But if they are not self-motivated, then it's very difficult, no matter how much of an amazing teacher they have, how much of a support they have, the kid themselves, they won't learn.
You have to be self-motivated.
And the difficult part about my experience as 8 years of being a teacher here in the cram school industry is that, number one, parents put that burden on the teacher. So the teacher has to make this uninterested kid enjoy the learning. They have to make it love the English language, and they try to make it. And how much the kid enjoys is valued the teacher's worth. Additionally, not only does the kid enjoy, but the kid has to have good grades in school. So if the good grades are not being shown by the parents will change cram schools just like that.
And I was going to say, and the teachers have a terrible pressure, speaking as a teacher, of the parents. The parents have a lot of control. At one point, it was just teacher has full control. But in this time period, the parents have more control, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but then you're getting pressure from the management. You need to be a certain way, and you're getting pressure from the like it's just there's all this pressure coming down on the teacher, and the teacher isn't really paid enough to care as much as they, like I think the wages have to go up if you want, like if you place this much importance on education, then you should place that level of importance on the wage as well of the person that's doing the education. Otherwise, what's in it for them to be this exceptional teacher if they're not being treated like they're important?
What I found from my study was that, firstly, all of these teachers and managers that I interviewed, they said that nowadays the reputation of being a teacher is much less than when it was compared maybe 20 years ago. Before, if the teacher said, oh, the kid needs to learn in this way or that way, the parents would, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you so much for teaching my kid in that respectful manner. Now, it's more of like, oh, why are you not teaching my kid this way? They don't like it, they change, or the reputation and the social status of being a teacher is much lower. Additionally, we have to understand that whether we like it or not, the cram school industry and the cram school by itself, they are a business. They are in it for the money. They create curriculums and classes that is based on what the parents want, not what the kids need.
Exactly, and that's a big problem.
Because their main consumer are parents. Okay, that's the negative part. The positive thing is, from my study, I know that there's a change in perception in parents. Modern parents in the younger generation, they care more about their kids' well-being.
I am starting to see that more.
They care more about their kids' happiness, and additionally, they prioritize more on the importance of speaking English rather than passing English tests.
Which I think is more valuable because communication
is better. Because they're seeing English as a tool to learn something more, but not just English as a subject. That's the first thing. And because of this change in the market, traditional cram schools are closing down, or they are changing to cater towards this new group of parents, and then they are also asking the teachers to change. But
it depends on how old-fashioned the teacher is.
How old-fashioned the teacher is. The backbone of a cram school is the Taiwanese teachers. But nobody graduates school and say, I want to be a cram school English teacher. So what they hire is they hire university students who leave. So there's a very big rotation of teachers.
There are so many that come from the university. You see them for a year or two, and then
they just leave. So I've had so many. I've trained a lot of part-timers. That's what we call them. And then there are the full-time teachers who are older generation teachers who have been running cram schools, so they have their own different mindsets. And then that is becoming a bit outdated. But then they don't have people who can stay with the cram school long enough to understand the system and to be properly trained. So these part-timers, these university students who's only coming here for the minimum wage just to get a pocket money, they don't put that much effort. That's an issue here. So there needs to be better teacher training. From the foreign teacher side, there's a boatload of problems, So
not showing up on time.
There are issues from the foreign teachers themselves, and there are issues from the cram schools themselves. The foreigners, majority, we see it as, it's difficult for me to invest and put my efforts into it because you guys do not respect my input. The curriculum cannot be adjusted.
I do often feel that way,
and that just makes it difficult because the teachers, in the beginning, most foreign teachers, they will come to a new school. Oh, I'm so excited. I want to try my best. And then once they are treated in a way that they are not respected and valued, they don't care about it. They just come, clock in, play around with the kids, clock out.
I think most are this way.
There are, of course, a few exceptions.
There's exceptions to all the things you're talking about. Of course, there are parents that see things differently. And then there are parents that will fight you and say it's a good system. You're just stating your opinion
and my experience
and your experience, which sounds like you do have a lot of experience based on that. You're training teachers and you understand the system. You're speaking truth.
I have legitimately done studies to prove my argument.
But I think it's important to approach everything we hear, that whether we agree or disagree, with an open mind.
I think majority of the kids here in Taiwan lack is the ability to question the teacher, the ability to voice their opinions in the classroom.
Yes.
Because we see a lot of quiet, timid, shy kids in the class. And then when we are thrown into a classroom to make them learn how to speak, but they don't want to talk, it's a very, very challenging job for us. I'm going to say a few things based on my experience as a teacher and working in the industry for 8 years, and based on my master thesis, that the cram school industry is a business because they will choose the most profitable path possible, regardless of how they take care of their foreign teacher, part-timers, or the parents and students. Of course, there are schools, I have interviewed schools who purely are the academic. I don't care about the money. I want to make sure my students
they
learn
do
well.
exist.
There are, it's not the majority of it, but there are amazing exceptions that I know of. I think there needs to be a bit of a reform from the government side to, one, limit the class times that cram schools can operate. So we don't want to have grade 1 kids taking classes from 8 to 9 or 9 to 10. That's too late.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Because they're growing, they need sleep.
Yeah, they need sleep, and that's
they
too
need
late.
playtime. That's part of growth and part of intellectual.
Exactly.
If you ever wonder why the kids are crazy during class time, like during my class time, I'm a friendly, easygoing teacher because I understand what you're saying. I teach my kids, so they're learning whatever the curriculum is, but I also give them, I play music and I let them dance and I let them jump around, because they're not getting that because
Outlets
they
of
go
energy.
from their elementary school or junior high, whatever, straight to that.
Yeah.
I let them have that freedom, and thankfully I'm in an environment that is okay with that.
Yeah.
But not all environments are accepting of that.
Yes. So actually my boss, she loaned me to multiple cram schools around Kaohsiung to get experience as a teacher, and I saw multiple different structures and styles of cram schools. And I had the opportunity to create my own curriculum and curriculum design once I become a manager and supervisor, and I made it a system where the kids have an environment for them to enjoy and laugh. And but I also had to cater toward the parents, so we had to have a bit of a rigid but fun system. But there are schools who are just purely shouting, and just the environment is so negative.
A lot of them are like that.
And the teachers are forced to come and, you know, rainbows and sunshine, but then there's the co-teacher or the teacher's assistant slamming the table, shouting, and then I'm supposed to make the kid laugh. That's impossible. Right? So parents, if you are going to choose a cram school, I would suggest you choose based on what would be the best for the kid and whether your kid is enjoying the class rather than what you think would be best. Because you're not the one sitting in class. You're not the one learning. It's your kid. English language is important. Your kids, they need to have a childhood. If they pass one test, but then they don't pass the next one, if they get a bad grade, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Let them enjoy their childhood. Let them have fun. And once they have their own identity, and then that they know what they want to do in life, I promise you, you don't have to stress. They will do everything themselves. That's the only thing.
100%.
From my study is that the reason why parents enroll in cram schools, the number one thing is fear of falling behind, that their kid will fall behind.
I know, it's a unhealthy fear, because you as the parent, me as the parent, we have no idea what 2030 is going to look like. And
so
I'm just saying 2030 because AI is taking over and all of this stuff that you think is so important won't matter at all in 5 years. But what this world looks like, what jobs look like, we have no idea.
Yeah, so as I was saying, that they're afraid their kid's going to fall behind, so they want to do everything to make them prepared. And the main reason why they don't want to just only stay in government school is because they feel the education that the kid gets in the government school is not enough. The reason being, the class size is too big. The time that they can learn English is too limited.
It's an old system.
It's a very old system. So it's not parents' fault or the cram school's fault.
It's nobody's fault.
It's the system that needs to change, and the government needs to be able to have some kind of reform to be more diverse and more balanced for the kids. And the main point of our whole discussion is that we want what's best for the kid, right?
Yes.
And the system is not caring about the kid, so no matter how much we care about the kid, we can't make a big change. So the system needs to change.
It's hard as a parent to make the right decision.
Because parents in general, they base their decision based on their life experience.
Yes.
Times change.
The kids of this generation are not the kids of your generation or my generation. So many kids are ADD or ADHD. This is... Technology is evolving and the brain is becoming faster, so it appears to you and I, because we're slower, as, oh, he has ADD or whatever. It's that he can't live and
At a slower pace.
At a slower pace. So it looks like this thing that we call ADD, but he actually needs everything to move faster, and school is too slow.
Yeah, and because the younger generations, their attention span is much shorter,
Yes.
because basing on what you said, because the environment that they are in, everything is evolving. Even myself, like I get bored after a minute if it doesn't get engaging. So how can we blame a 6-year-old or 5-year-old based on not sitting properly for a long period of time? So we have to be understanding and not try to bring him to the system that you were raised in, but try to find a system that is most comfortable and beneficial for the kid. Short funny story that an incident that I had with my students. So there was a group of boys, I called them my troublemakers. They're like in high school, and then it was my early years of teaching, and I didn't know any Chinese at the time. So they were like, oh, Teacher Tom, let me teach you a word that means good job, right? And then the word was kaopei, or like kaopei, right? And then that means good job. I was like, oh, okay, that means good job, yeah, okay.
Yeah, which we know it doesn't.
Which later on I realized was a swear word.
Yes.
So after the class was finished, and then I had like 4 more classes after that. They're all high school kids, yeah? After I make my kids do presentations in class and debates, and then after the kid was done, kaopei, well done. And then the kids, all of them laughed. They were like, good job, Teacher Tom. None of them corrected me, yeah?
Yeah, of course not.
And then at the end of the day, I was giving my review to my boss. And then my boss was like, oh yeah, and then we got this new textbook and it looks very nice. Take a look. Oh, kaopei, it looks so good. Well done, kaopei. And then my boss was like, excuse me? What did you say? And I was
Oh my God, that's awesome.
kaopei? No, well done. I said, no, that means blah, blah, blah. It's a swear word. I was like, what, really? I went on a whole day for 4 classes, like 80 kids telling them, and none of them corrected me.
You made their day.
I still keep in touch with them because now they're like graduating
You love
university.
them.
I
You love that.
them.
You
like,
love that. Like that's so funny.
Because I was that type of student. My teachers probably hated me when I was young, but they're the kids who kind of make the environment, learning and teaching much more enjoyable and fun. So if you are watching this, Jason, well done to that.
Jason and Jason?
Jason and Jason. Yeah. The English names here are just very, very common, but yeah.
Is there anything as a Mongolian that you can't get used to here in Taiwan?
I think it's a different culture. It's Asian, but I'm more Middle Asian, and here it's more East Asian. So there is a difference of how we do things, but I have nothing but only compliments and amazement of the way the people live life here in Taiwan, because number one, everything is just very convenient. People in Kaohsiung in general are very friendly and open-minded. They're welcoming to foreigners as well. And additionally, they are very polite. If something occurs, they go out of their way to make sure it doesn't inconvenience others. So that is something, they are mindful of others. So I think that was something that I really enjoyed. In terms of something that I cannot get used to here in Taiwan, probably stinky tofu, pig blood cake, and
all the things that I like.
Okay, one thing I cannot fathom, mate, is that there are cultural, what is that? When people are just walking from a city to a city, the Mazu, what is that?
Oh, Mazu, yeah.
Pilgrimage, there you go. Yeah. In that pilgrimage, I see girls or ladies in a very
provocative
outfits,
dancing
or dancing on cars. I cannot see how it's a religious
How does
thing.
that tie into the Mazu?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know, because the first time I saw it, I was walking.
I've thought about that too, yeah.
And then I saw, oh, this is very cool. Let me stand and learn more about it. And then I saw she's dancing. I was so shocked about that. I think that was the only thing I can't fathom.
It is a weird thing, because it's like cultural, and then the next thing you turn and there's a woman pole dancing on top of a car with like neon flashing lights and loud
it's
music,
like it's a club
and
or something.
And they're lighting fireworks and it's like, whoa, what is that? And a lot of the marches have that.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. I'm
please help me understand.
I'm at loss for
how does this work?
Final question.
Go ahead.
Is there anything that you would want to leave with whoever's watching this that inspires you in your life?
To me, I think I just try to be a better version than myself when I was like yesterday. My competitor or who I have to compete with is not other people, it's with myself. So if yesterday I wasn't able to do a certain thing, but today I'm able to do it just a little bit better, that's a win for me. So in the modern age, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed easily, they are anxious easily, they're hyper-stimulated. Don't worry about being better, on Instagram or on Facebook. That's their life. It's not the path that you have to take. Just be better than yourself yesterday. You don't make a sculpture by hitting it one time, it just cracks open, right? You hit it little by little, you chisel it down. So imagine yourself as a block of marble, stone, or concrete, and you just chisel it away little by little, and then over some time, you will see that, a year ago, I couldn't have done this, or I was this type of person, I had a bad habit, now I'm this way and different. And I think you should have a goal that you want to achieve to, and just work towards it little by little, step by step. I think that would be the best advice that I could give to someone who wants to be inspired by it.
I like that, brother. And I'm an emotional guy, and I'm a father. I think your father would be proud of you.
Thank you.
So if you do have any guilt or residue left over from how things ended, like with the school and whatever, I'm sure he's over it.
I think I redeemed myself. I had to finance my siblings' school tuition fees. I had to send them back money. School I had, was the best, won a lot of things. So I think I'm proud of myself, and I think my dad would be proud of it as well.
I think he would be proud of you without any of that.
Thank you.
Because you're his son.
Thank you.
That's something we should remember as well, is to be proud of our children regardless of their accomplishments, because being alive is hard enough.
Yes, it is.
I appreciate this
so
conversation, brother, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this content. It motivates me to make more content, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one.